Yo, this is the Scarcity Studios YouTube channel. Please don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe. And our sponsors are Alpha Claims and Hire Birmingham, the leading and best accident management company. Get a replacement car anywhere in 1 hour. I really appreciate you joining me again today. And this story comes from Blackpool and the case was heard at Preston Crown Court. It's about the murder of Kris Kam. 2 men have been found guilty of his murder after he was punched to the floor and stabbed in a case of mistaken identity. This story definitely shows that knife crime and gang-related violence is not isolated to inner cities. Blackpool is not a massive city or town. Christopher Carrington, 26, and Kevin Gracia, 26, were jailed at Preston Crown Court for the manslaughter of Kris Kam in October 2019. Shaquille Cumberbatch, 27, was jailed for robbing another man with Carrington the previous day. Lancashire Police said that Mr Kam was killed in a cowardly attack. The force said that he was killed on the wholly mistaken basis that he was some way connected to a rival group. Mr Kam was cycling on Queen Victoria Road and he was attacked on the morning of the 26th of October 2019. Several men got out of a black Volkswagen Golf and knocked Mr Kam off his bike before punching and kicking him on the ground and stabbing him in the leg before running away. Mr Kam was stabbed 3 times in the upper leg and died the next day in Blackpool Victoria Hospital. Carrington of no fixed abode was jailed for 20 years on Tuesday, and Gracia of Hilltop Avenue, London was jailed for 9 years and 9 months, while CUMBERPATCH from Edgware was jailed for 7 years and 6 months. All 3 were convicted at an earlier hearing. Detectives investigating the death quickly linked the offence to an attack on an 18-year-old who was punched to the ground and his phone was stolen the previous day on Grasmere Road. He lay defenceless on the floor and the second man, Carrington, stabbed him in the leg. Detective Chief Inspector Lee Wilson welcomed the sentences and said the men come to Blackpool to commit violent acts and intimidate people and establish drug dealing in county lines. He said Mr Kam was targeted on the basis that he was connected to a gang, which he was not. They launched a cowardly attack on him and frankly he stood little chance of surviving or overwhelming the force that was used against him. They wasn't just content with beating him, they had to stab him as well. And later on in court it was revealed that someone was heard shouting, "You've got the wrong man," in the aftermath of the stabbing. In broad daylight on the Blackpool street, Kris Kam was 35 years old and he was pushed from his bike and murdered. This was witnessed by a 12-year-old boy who was playing on the top of a shipping container, and he actually ran to Mr Kam's aid at the scene. So big respect to that young man, that even though he didn't have to do that and he'd witnessed something so violent, he still tried to help this person that he didn't even know. All 4 men were from London and they was accused of robbery from the day before. They broke 2 cheekbones of a male. He had missing teeth and a puncture wound to his buttocks. At 11 AM, Kris Kam went to a cash machine at McColl's newsagents to withdraw £10. At the same time, a black Volkswagen Golf hired by CUMBERPATCH for business was seen on CCTV in the area. Mr Kam cycled down the road close to Riveau Park and he was attacked. A 12-year-old boy told police he saw 4 black men dressed in black jump from the VW Golf and attack him. He said they kicked the bike from him and booted and punched him and he was on the ground. From the vantage point on top of the shipping container, the boy said he saw one of the men in a baseball cap pull out a knife and stab the man on the floor twice. They then got up and disappeared in the car. A woman was leaving her home at the time and saw 3 men in dark clothing get out of a dark coloured car. She was so worried she pushed her friend back into the car. She heard someone shout, "You've got the wrong man," and a few seconds later, someone said, "Help, I've been stabbed." She went outside with her neighbour to find a man in the street covered in blood and she asked the 12-year-old boy to get help and a towel from inside her house. He did this and tried to help stop the bleeding. An hour later, after the attack of Mr Kam, the defendants were ordering pizza to the flat above the carpet shop in Central Drive. The order was delayed and when the driver arrived, the police were at the scene also. They entered the flat block with the delivery driver and then people tried to flee from the property but were later arrested. My condolences to the family of Kris Kam and I really appreciate you joining me for this story. Please pay your respects in the comments below and I'll be back again very shortly with some more news. Peace.